Okay, we're gonna let a few more people stream in. All right, let's get started. So welcome to our webinar, Managing Your Course in myCourses. My name is Teddy Quintoro, and I'm here today with my colleague, Barbara Sitchison. We are both learning technology consultants with teaching and learning services. And also joining us today is Adam Finkelstein, who is the Associate Director of Learning Environments at TLS. And he will be moderating the chat during our session. There are a few items I would like to bring to your attention before we begin. This session is being recorded. If you prefer not to be visible, you can turn off your video so that you don't appear in the recording, but we do appreciate as well that you are there. There are a few items I would like to bring to your attention before we begin. Also, the slides for this webinar and the recording, as well as the additional resources, will be posted on the TLS website. So please note that you have been muted upon entry for the duration of the webinar. Barbara and I will be answering your questions at the end of the session, and we have set 10 minutes aside at the end of this. However, feel free to use the chat while we are presenting. Adam will also be taking in some questions, and if you'd like to type in any of the questions, we'll be happy to address your questions there. So we have 3 session outcomes for you today. We will be looking at design your homepage with purpose to enhance your course experience, identify strategies and procedures for managing students' grades using grades, the gradebook also, track students' activities using class progress and intelligent agents. So let's get started here with Barbara.
Can unmute. Hi, everyone. So we're going to begin with what your students first see when they enter your course. So this is your course homepage. A great way to help you manage your course is to design a homepage that's meaningful for both you and your students. And in the slides that follow, we're going to look at some of the strategies and recommendations to help you design a homepage that does exactly that. So when you or your students first click on a course from the main landing page in myCourses, you will see a page similar to what you see here. So this is your course homepage, and each course homepage has a default navigation bar, banner, and widgets. However, the default is not your only option. It's fully customizable depending on your preferences, and you also have quite a bit of control over what your students see here. It's important to design a homepage with purpose and really think through what's most important within the context of what your students need to know or do. So you want to consider limiting what you place on your homepage so that it only includes useful information, as well as organize your page to help your students find the resources they need when they need them. Because the key here is to enhance the learning experience for your students. And some ways that you can do this is by customizing your nav bar, your banner, and your widgets. So let's take a look at how we can do that. So a default banner image is applied to each course. And the purpose of the banner is to add visual styling and context to your course. However, the default may not always be appropriate. And I think back to when I met with an instructor who was teaching an anatomy course, and his banner image was that of a roller coaster. So similar to what you see here. However, luckily the default banner sometimes may be completely appropriate within the context of your course. And if you like it, then by all means keep it as is. But it's also good to know that you do have the option of replacing it by choosing a new image from the hundreds of images in the image bank. So as you can see, we now have replaced our roller coaster with something more appropriate for an anatomy course. Also note that you have the option to create and upload a custom banner. So if you choose to create a custom banner, just make sure it's the correct dimensions, and note that such things as dimension specifications, details on how to change your banner, as well as any of the steps that we're referring to during this presentation are all posted as resources on the TLS website. So next, you can also customize your navigation bar. So what you see here is the navigation bar that is applied to all courses by default. So this contains the most commonly used tools such as content, Zoom, lecture recordings, discussions, assignments, and grades. And note that the two last items, the class list and the course admin, are only visible to you and not to your students. You can change the nav bar to reflect which tools you will be using in your course. So you'll likely want to keep the content, the grades, Zoom, and lecture recordings, as well as whichever engagement and assessment tools you're using. So possibly quizzes, assignments, discussions, maybe the groups tool. So if you wish to customize the nav bar, you can click on the three dots that you see highlighted in blue, which will bring you to a page where you can easily delete and add tools. So for instance, if you're using the quizzes tool in your course, you'll need to add it to your nav bar, since this does not appear here by default. So this is important because students will not be able to access any assessments created using the quizzes tool if it is not added to your toolbar. So another way you can customize your homepage is by changing your widgets. Each of the boxes that you see here on your right is called a widget. And the default widgets are the announcements and calendar widgets. You can customize your homepage by changing these widgets as well as adding others. And the widgets you choose to include on your homepage should do two things. So they should ease navigation and they should help with communication. So help your students find information easily and quickly by providing them with methods to access frequently used course resources, and use widgets that help you share up-to-date course information and help students stay on top of course due dates. In the next few slides, we're going to take a look at the widgets that we find really useful and highly recommend in helping you to manage your course. So the first widget we'd like to recommend is the announcement widget, which is one of your default widgets. It's a place to add messages that you would like students to see when they log into your course. You can use the announcement widget to communicate important information to students, such as a welcome message at the start of the semester, extensions to assignment due dates, follow-ups from in-class discussions, links to new resources, course reminders, such as an upcoming deadline, changes to an assignment, and the list goes on. So lots of great uses for the announcement tool. You're not only limited to using text in your announcement, you can add a variety of media, such as images or links. You can embed a YouTube video, or you can even record a video message using your computer's webcam. So this is a great way to create a more personal touch or improve engagement with your students. You can also take it a step further and personalize your message by incorporating your student's name. So this can be done by using a simple variable called a replace string when editing your announcement. And as you can see, it says, "Welcome, Barbara," in the screenshot that you see here. Again, instructions on how to do this can be found in the resources that are shared with you on the TLS website. So the next widget that we'd like to recommend is the calendar widget. Again, it's a default widget. And the calendar widget is a great way to help students stay on top of due dates and other important course deadlines, such as exams, assignment deadlines, etc. You can create your own custom events as well, such as a special presentation, or if you have a guest speaker or upcoming holiday that you'd like to announce, and even schedule recurring events. Deadline dates that are set up in other myCourses tools, such as the assignments tool or the quizzes tool, are automatically displayed here, so you don't have to enter them twice. Students will see up to 14 events or deadlines in the calendar widget, and students can access the full calendar simply by clicking on the widget. A really nice thing is that they can also subscribe to the calendar with a preferred calendar software, like Google Calendar, Outlook, iPhone, or Android Calendar. So the teacher profile widget is a widget that is not one of the default ones. It's a custom widget that you can add to your homepage. And we really like this widget because it gives you a space to introduce yourself to your students, share your photo, a short bio, as well as your social media details if you want. However, this is entirely optional. It's a nice widget to add to make your course feel more personable for your students and to give you more presence. So when students feel like an instructor is more present in an online environment, they're likely to be more engaged. And the last widget we'd like to recommend is the Visual Table of Contents widget. This is another custom widget that you can add to your homepage, and we really like it because it allows for quick and easy access to your course content through visual and interactive tiles. So each of the little squares that you see here are referred to as tiles. And each of these tiles represents a content module from your course. By clicking on one of these tiles, you are brought directly to a specific module. Each course module's title is displayed within the tile, while the information button, there's a little I information button, which is a little bit hard to see on these slides, can be selected to flip to reveal the module's description. Also, another nice feature is that students can track their progress for each module by looking at a progress bar and the number of completed topics. So what you see here may be familiar to some of you who may have completed myCourses Essentials. You can see this example has 6 modules which are represented. One of them is flipped to reveal the description for that specific module. And you'll also notice that as a student, I can see that I have completed 50% of the content within each module. And it also displays how many topics I have visited. So we recommend this widget for courses with 8 to 10 content modules or less, because your homepage will begin to get quite long and will require much scrolling if you have, say, 20 modules in your course. So once you've finished designing your homepage and you've added content to your course, the next step is to think about how you can manage your student grades. Luckily, myCourses has a great tool for this, and it's called the Grades tool. However, it's also commonly referred to as the gradebook. So the gradebook represents all of the work you want to evaluate your students on in a course. It is where you can evaluate specific tasks, such as assignments, quizzes, participation, presentations, exams, etc. And in this example, you can see that I have 4 items that I will be evaluating, including an assignment, a midterm, a participation grade, and a final exam. So you can enter grades for individual items, or if you have your grade book linked to other tools in myCourses, such as the quizzes tool, assignments, or the discussions tool, then your grading for these items will automatically flow into the gradebook. Students really appreciate when instructors use the grades tool because it allows them to see their progress in the course. And as you can see, this is an example of a student's view of the gradebook. Here they can verify their grades on a specific assignment or test. They can also see additional feedback that the instructor may have included. They can also view their final grade, but only once it has been released by the instructor. So why use the gradebook? Well, there's lots of good reasons to use it. The first is that it does the math for you. So grades are automatically calculated. Also, multiple users can enter grades at the same time. So this is especially handy if you have TAs in your course and they're helping you grade assignments. Just simplified record keeping. You don't need to deal with Excel spreadsheets, emails, notes. You can just manage it all from one place. So not only can you enter your grades in your gradebook, you can even include feedback, all in the same place to accompany your grades. You can also manage exactly what students see. So you can decide what grade items you want students to see and when they see them by either hiding or making visible specific grade items. You can decide whether their grades appear as a points value, as percentage, or as a letter grade. Whether they can see the calculation method or logic behind their final grade. And also, final grades are not released to students automatically unless you explicitly publish them. You can also sort, filter, and view statistics. So you can view details about a class, a group, or a section's overall grades in your course. Statistics include such things as the minimum grade, a maximum grade. There's even a graph showing the distribution of grades, etc. myCourses also makes it very easy to transfer your students' final grades directly to Minerva. There's an export to Minerva wizard available in the gradebook. So the key takeaway is that the grades tool is a huge time saver and also a great way to help you manage your students' grades in one place. As the instructor, you determine how to set up your gradebook to best reflect your approach to evaluation in your course. Before you start setting up your gradebook, first you need to take a bit of time and think through some of these questions that we have here for you. So the first one is, which course activities do you plan to evaluate? So in this example, we have 3 quizzes, a group project, a written report, a participation grade, and a final exam. Then you need to ask yourself which grading system is most appropriate for your course. So you want to determine how the items that you are evaluating your students on contribute to their final grades. So will it be weighted or points-based, for instance? And how will points and weights be distributed? So for example, my gradebook in this case is weighted. I have 3 quizzes, which are each scored out of 25 points and are each worth 10% of the final grade. I have a group project out of 100, which is worth 20%. A written report out of 100, also worth 20%. A participation grade that is going to be graded out of 5 points and worth 5% of my final grade. And a final exam out of 100 points that is worth 25% of my final grade. So you can see that all of my weights for each of these individual items will add up to 100%. Then the next question is, how will you handle ungraded items? So you can choose to drop ungraded items. In this case, if a student did not complete one of the 3 quizzes, it will be assumed that the grade for this one quiz is excluded from the student's final grade calculations, so that the final grade will be inflated. Or you can choose to treat ungraded items as 0. So this option will issue a 0 for anything that is not graded. So if a student doesn't complete a quiz, they receive a 0. And finally, how will final grades be calculated? So there are 2 options here. You can use the final calculated grade, which means that the final grade is calculated by the gradebook, which means also you cannot adjust the final grade without adjusting individual grade scores. Or you can use the final adjusted grade, which allows you to manually change the final grade calculation without affecting grade item scores. So note that if you plan to export to Minerva, you will have to use the final adjusted grade as your final grade. Minerva does not allow for decimal places, therefore you need to round your grades accordingly before exporting. So once you've thought through these questions, you can begin setting up your gradebook in myCourses. You will see the grade setup wizard page when you navigate to the grades tool for the first time. The grade setup wizard guides you through a series of 7 steps, including your calculation options, such as your grading systems and schemes, as well as display options for both you and your students, such as how many decimal points will be displayed, whether the grade students see will be in the form of a letter, a percentage, or number of points. As a best practice, we highly recommend that you use the grade setup wizard before creating grade items in your gradebook. Making changes to a gradebook settings and calculation options after you begin tracking student grades can significantly affect existing data. So once you've completed your setup, you can begin creating your grade items, entering and managing your grades, and sharing this data with your students as you see fit. The gradebook really is a great way to help manage student grades and keep an eye on your student progress throughout the term. Another way to track student progress is via the class progress tool. And now I will leave it to Teddy to continue, and he will explain more about this.
Thanks, Barbara. Okay, so you've set up your course in myCourses, curated or developed new material, created fixed and maybe flexible activities, but how do you know if students are accessing the material and engaging in myCourses? How can you keep students on track? But what if you have a large class? So in this remote environment, we don't have as many cues to rely on, like students not showing up to class, their facial expressions. So how about letting myCourses do some of the analytics work for you? So first we have the class progress tool. It's available for all instructors, either from the default navigation bars, or you can view it in course admin. And depending on what items you have made available in your course, you can see which areas students have been accessing and completing. So for example, in this view, I have added content visited, discussions. It shows the number of posts read, threads created, and replies posted, login to the system, and grades obtained. You can also display quiz and assignments indicators, but you can only have 4 indicators that can be displayed at once. And if you hover over each bar on the student, so if you take a look at, let's say, a particular grade, you can actually see more details and click on it. What I find most interesting in this particular view is not so much whether students have visited the content or logged into the system per se, but I like the discussions. You can tell whether students are spending time reading through the threads, but not necessarily authoring posts. So if you're planning on weekly discussion threads, this will eventually be a great place to come back and take a look to see if students are progressing. Just like all the system type data, we have to interpret with a grain of salt. Not all students are the same. Some may spend more time interacting with the material in myCourses. Others would prefer reading the textbook. Others love to hang out in the discussion board. Others avoid it unless there's a grade attached to it. And even some students will click more if they know you are paying attention to this data. Lots of activity in myCourses will not necessarily mean a successful student. This being said, if you look at the overall data and pattern, a student that does not access much material, has not read any postings, and is logging infrequently within 2 weeks of the course, well, that might raise a flag, like we have the student there at the bottom. If you have a large class, you may end up with several pages to navigate in class progress. So at the bottom here, you can see there's just 3 and it's showing 10 per page. What you could do instead, if you have a larger number, is filter through here. And you can filter by groups. If you have groups of students that you've created in myCourses, I know some instructors already created groups of students for their teaching assistants. This way you can reduce the number of students that you would see per page on this view, or even ask your TAs to keep an eye on their groups. So another interesting part about class progress is that you can drill down to see the specific details for a particular student. So in this case, if you would like to have a student, they're maybe asking a particular question on the course outline, you can take a look here at the bottom. You can take and see that they have 2 views. You can see that the student has logged into the course, for example, and see how many, and see when it was the last time they visited. It's right over here. So you can drill down to take a look at the particular content. You can also see earlier that we had the login information to the system. But in this particular case, if you want to see whether they've actually looked at your course, when you drill down to the student, you can see their course access, and you can see how many days in between they've logged in. So here they've had a 12 days gap. And finally, you can take a look at the overall discussion activity, the number of posts read, threads created, and replies posted. You can open each thread and click and read each post made by the student to view the quality of each post. So this might be a great place to come back also if you're assessing discussions. Of course, it may be challenging to keep track of each student, once you have a class over 50 students. You can use a tool called Intelligent Agents. And so you can find that tool right at the top left of class progress over here. And the Intelligent Agents basically will send an email based on a certain criteria that you set. So even though it is automated, you can personalize the email by adding variables such as the student's first name. And Barbara mentioned earlier in the announcement tool is the same feature, and the course title. So for example, you can flag you or your teaching assistants when a student seems to be falling behind. And so for example, the criteria here is not submitting the assignment by the due date. Before that, you can set reminders to students. So the criteria here is not accessing the assignments or quizzes X number of days before the deadline, or not logging into the course for the past 7 days. 7 days is probably a good guideline where students should be logging in at least every week. These emails do not have to be only about tracking students. You can also send a welcome email to all students that have accessed the course for the first time. So I hear there are some instructors thinking about opening their course ahead of time. And it might be a good idea to send students that are accessing the courses early a personalized email informing them of what they might expect to see in the course, and maybe even ask them to fill out an anonymous survey. So what is your interest in this course? Do you have any particular constraints or concerns given your circumstances? And finally, you can also automatically send encouraging email messages based on the completion of activities. So for example, thank you for posting in the welcome discussion thread. Congratulations, you have completed half of the coursework. So those are some of the examples that you could use for intelligent agents. So we've talked about the tools that you can use to organize and communicate to your students. You will likely be making some tweaks and changes to the course. You can use class progress and the analytics that myCourses provide to make assumptions on students' behavior. But perhaps a more direct method to gather feedback is to ask students directly. So for example, you can create an anonymous survey where you can ask the simple questions of which particular activities are helping you learn. If there was one thing that you could change about this course, what would it be? In fact, I'd like to direct you to the resource on mid-course evaluation. This will provide you different options to gather this feedback, whether it's a survey, whether it's an anonymous discussion post, or using polling at McGill. So we've given you a lot of information today. A good next step would be to take a look at the course called myCourses Essentials. If you haven't seen it before, everybody's been added to this course, every instructor automatically. And it's basically a self-paced tutorial that includes descriptions and the most commonly used tools in myCourses, including best practices and step-by-step instructions for setting up the tools. You can navigate it either as a full course, or you can refer to it when you need to while you're building your course. I would also like to remind you that this webinar is part of a series. You can register to the others on the TLS website. I think most of them already have been given, except for one, which is the peer assessment that's coming up tomorrow. And so you can also take a look here. The recordings of the webinars are located on this website. The link that you see here is posted in the chat. And you will also be able to stream the recordings from the links on the right-hand side. So if you take a look at here, that's where you would access the recordings. And also something to keep in mind is click on the resources here area to expand it. And that's where we're going to be posting all of the links that Adam has been posting over here, and any additional ones that we find after maybe some of the questions that you have at the end of this session. So this concludes the webinar portion on our end, but we would like to know, what is your most important takeaway for today's session? And two, do you have any additional questions on what we covered today? Please type in your answer in the chat tool. Also, I'd like to add that if there are any questions that we cannot address today, we will review them and answer them via the resources page as well. So I'm gonna Barbara, if you have anything that picked up, I will continue scanning as well myself.
Yeah, I was taking a look at some of the questions coming in. There weren't too many. There was just one about, and I think Adam also addressed it, but I can address it again, about the difference between widgets and the tiles. So I had referred to tiles when I was talking about the visual table of contents tool. There were little squares as well for that one. And so in that case, they're referred to as tiles. But the visual table of contents, it's a widget. That is the widget, and it has tiles within it. All of those little tiles, they refer to individual content modules. So when you go into content and you create a new module, and if you're using this type of widget, then that module is linked to one of those tiles, basically.
So I'm looking earlier at, on some of the questions on the class progress. So just something else to mention, a student, if you have the class progress on the navigation bar, the students would see that as their own user progress. So if they know that you're looking at the data, they can look at their own data themselves, but it's their own personal data on class progress, not, of course, not their classmates. So they can take a look at what you can see in terms of the data as well.
Catherine has got two really great questions. One of them is, how do you update the tile photos for the table of contents widget? And so that's a really good question. There is a default image that you can use, but if you want to have a variation in images for each of the modules, which I recommend, you put that in the description. So when you're in content and you create a module, in the area where you actually type in a description for that module, you can also add an image. So whatever image you place there will automatically appear in the visual table of contents. And Catherine's other question was, do you have an opinion on the use of the new content experience and when to choose to turn it on or keep it off? So yes, there are two experiences, I guess you can call them, in myCourses. So there's the older one and the newer one, which is, I guess, a bit more visually appealing. And I think it's really personal choice, Catherine. I do find that the newer version has a couple limitations. One of them is that you can't navigate from one piece of content to another. In the older version, you can. There's left and right arrows that let you go back and forth between pieces of content, which the newer experience doesn't have. So that may or may not matter to you. It really depends on your situation. So there really is no best practice, I guess, in terms of what you want to use. It's really up to you and your preference.
There was a question from Chris. Can the attendance data from a synchronous Zoom session be transferred to myCourses as attendance data? So yes, the Zoom data is in Zoom, that you can extract it and you can import it back to the gradebook as a custom column. So that could be something that you may want to think about. You will do a bit of Excel there. Something just to add as well, if you're doing that Zoom, is maybe you might have to, depending on how large your class is, because if you have a really large class, some students may end up logging in a few times and maybe logging in with different devices, but asking them to actually log in with their username. So it's a feature in Zoom to enforce a login, and that way you have a track with like an email address of who's inside. So when you're tracking that attendance.
Catherine had another one about dates for the modules in the new experience. Yeah, actually, Catherine, that's a really good point. That's another, I guess, limitation with the new content experience. You can't add like a release date for a specific piece of content. So if you wanted students to only see a specific module as of a certain date, you cannot add that restriction within the new content experience. There's something called pacing, which allows you to put in dates like I want content to be released to my students like within a 2-week time period. So you can do that, but in terms of putting specific date restrictions, you can't. The workaround for that is that you can toggle, so you can go back to the old experience, put in your dates, and then toggle back to the new experience, and it will keep those date restrictions. Teddy, is there anything else you wanted to?
That's what I've been looking at as well. I think we've gone through all the questions. We'll leave it a couple other seconds if there's other folks that are maybe trying to type in before we close off. But
okay, sounds good. Okay, I don't think there's anything else. Seems like I think we've answered everything.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, everybody, to attend our session. Also take a look again at our website and the recording that's going to be available there. And also definitely take a look at the resources. There's so much there that we have to offer to follow up on the things that we presented here. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.